Y'all, we live in difficult times. There's war, political unrest, the pandemic, poverty, families being torn, communities ripped by gun violence and people dying every day, police, injustice. It's all bringing so much pain. But y'all, we can look inside our minds and we can understand who we are, become better, and do this thing like we've never done it before. But it all starts with our mental health, and I know we can do it. I believe in you because I believe in me, and I believe in us. Hello and welcome to another episode of Therapy is Life. Yes, we've just warped in time and we're back here again with the same stuff on again.
Shout out to Nice Go.
Yep, we're going to do some nice rhythm and rhymes, and we're going to shoot some dimes. And speaking of that, we're going to talk about some good vibes, some basketball, and some hip-hop music, and you just don't stop. Listen, y'all, I know you like likable people, because I like likable people, right? So what we're going to do today, we're going to do something interesting. In celebrating the start of the NBA season and celebrating hip-hop, we're going to talk about some of our favorite players. But what we're going to try to focus on is skilled, talented individuals, we think, perhaps, who are also likable. And we're going to look at and we're going to discuss and explore how some people might be skilled but not so likable. We're going to try to identify some of the qualities that might be in people that we like and qualities that we don't like. And perhaps these are some qualities we might find in likable people in your neck of the woods, wherever you live at, whether it be somewhere in China or somewhere in, I guess on the other side, far west, far east, Alaska somewhere in between. But, where we at right here in Cleveland? This is for you. Anyway.
It's funny. It's very funny.
This is for you. So really, man, in starting off this conversation, man, I was thinking about, the idea that some people just, they are very competent and they're very skilled at what they do, man. And, before we get really into perhaps talking about those individuals that we like and that we think are skilled or competent athletes or musicians, right? Start off by thinking about some of our maybe all-time greats of all time. And I'm gonna start off if I could, right? And if I steal somebody else's one of the greats of all time, like how I like to be like Mike. MJ, I think, he was one of the most impactful NBA basketball players to ever play the game. And it's funny because he didn't really, on the court, he was a monster. I mean, he did his thing. And, socially, he was more quiet, but yet at the same time, he produced such a powerful presence in the media. I mean, sometimes I dream that he is me, he is who I want to be. If I can be like Mike, Mike, if I can be like Mike. Hey, you know what? I'm serious, guys, man. I'm serious. I think he actually opened the door up for the Chocolate Brothers. So your Tay D's, yo, Morris Chestnuts, your Wesley Snipes. Yeah. I think because before then, you had a few, man, but it seems like Billy D. Williams, he was like the dude, right?
Yeah. Get yourself a smooth Colt 45. You know what I'm saying? Right. What? Chewbacca.
Yeah, of course, my boy who did Shaft, and he was my boy too.
Richard Roundtree?
Richard Roundtree, man.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. Yeah.
I'm a movie guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Speaking of movie guys, man, James Earl Jones, man, he just recently passed away.
Rest in peace, man.
Rest in peace,
man. Hey, but you know what? But you know what Disney did before he got up out of here? Signed a contract to use his voice forever.
Oh my God.
His family set. If his family wasn't already set forever, they super set forever because they about to keep using his voice. Mufasa comes out on Christmas, so y'all be ready to go and hear his final performance of him actually doing something with his voice before they start synthesizing it and using a computer to make his voice for the rest of our lives.
And the rest of the
rest of our kids' lives.
Keep it going.
Yeah. And he'll be telling somebody the balance of the universe, and anyway, we don't want to go there.
Right.
What? Who would you say?
We're keeping it basketball.
Yeah, you keep it basketball. Greatest.
I would say Mike.
You would say Mike.
Yeah, I think MJ is my GOAT personally for me.
Personally,
I think obviously what he did, but I think I just love his mindset. I just love the way he just approached the game. I love the way he approached everything he did in life was just super competitive, super serious. He never wanted anybody to have anything over him, no matter what. It could be the smallest thing. It didn't matter what it was. So I just love his mindset, man. And then obviously the way he did it, retiring. I tell the story all the time. If I ever have a chance to meet him one day, I'm going to just ask him, like, what mindset did you have to retire, to come back in 95? You lose to the Magic. Right? That summer you film Space Jam. You come back, y'all 72-10. You then come back, sweep the Magic, go on and beat Gary Payton and them in the finals, and then you go off and win two more. I mean, 2 more after that, but you three-peated when you came. I mean, your mind, for somebody to have to go there, you have to be super obsessed and extreme. So I applaud him for that, and I respect him for it.
Yeah, man. I applaud him for that too, man. Definitely. You going music? Are you going where you go?
No, I mean, yeah, y'all know I'm not a sports person. I don't.
I would ask somebody for music.
I don't care anything about that. But I'm not. No, I mean, I definitely think Jordan is crazy. I think when we talk about people who like super likable. I don't feel like that's him though.
No, we don't get to that part.
No, but like I think because when I think of that, I think of Shaq. I'm like, he is the most fun nigga ever.
I would love being around Shaq.
Man,
to this day, like right now.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Right
like
now.
even right now, like bro, like we can have some Papa John's. Like he can sell me some cheap insurance. Like you know what I'm saying. Like and we gonna laugh and kick it and crack jokes and I'm gonna make fun of his free throws and it's just
and he gonna crack back on you.
Yeah,
you feel
and
me?
It's gonna be love.
It's gonna be love.
You feel me? Like
and everything, and he's still not gonna go practice. But
It's people like that. I think like somebody that just had that very similar mindset. I mean, obviously would be Kobe. Like, and I feel like he's just one of them dudes. Like, to as much as I like. When I was like growing up, I used to think like, man, I do not like this dude for some reason. But then like as an adult to look back and be like, but I love that he balled so hard and he was so determined and so focused and so like nuanced and just wanted to just be better. Like seeing him do interviews, I remember seeing a video of him being in Paris and doing interviews and doing the whole interview in French because he spoke multiple languages and was able to actually speak fluently directly to the people that wherever he was traveling at in the world. It's like, what? Like, what type of person do you have to be to really be that locked in and be like, you know what? I travel the world. If I frequent this place, I'm gonna learn the language. I'm gonna be able to speak it. I want to be good at like. I appreciated Kobe for that type of mindset, similar to Jordan having that mindset of just wanting to just be better and wanting to be good in things that you wouldn't think nothing of that. You wouldn't know nothing about that unless you also, like I did, saw that interview and came across that, and then you just realize like how deep this person's mentality went to be like, I want to know things. I want to be dynamic. I want to be universal. Like, that's super dope to me.
Yeah, you know, now that you go down that road, man, I think that people like Jordan, people like, GOATs like Jordan, GOATs like Kobe, they have such a work drive and work ethic. They just seem so serious.
Yeah.
Like, you would hear people talk about them and when it comes to work ethic, I would also put, maybe LeBron in that category.
Yeah,
in
no,
terms
for
of
sure.
work ethic.
Absolutely.
In terms of work ethic. But these are guys that like they be the first one in the gym, they be the last one to leave, they be the ones that study the film, be understanding, trying to perfect whatever it was that they were trying to do. Yeah. Now, when I think about people who are like competent and skilled, and they definitely are GOATs in their profession, GOATs, right? In life, on many levels. Do you think that, like, when we talk about people being humorous and being the party of the crowd and being agreeable and being empathetic and being compassionate and all those things we think about when we say, a good person, like, do you think Kobe and Michael, it sounds like we all kind of agree that they wasn't necessarily those kind of people. They were likable because of what they did, because of their status. Mm-hmm. But getting along with them or interacting with them, it was intense because they was always at another level.
Yeah.
And it made you feel like, oh, in a way.
But I think like anybody like that in any profession, I don't think you can have it any other way. Mm-hmm. I think that you know exactly what you want and you're really trying to take something to the highest level it could possibly go. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can have, be empathetic or anything like that towards people. I don't think you can really even get attached to people that much. Because I think at the end of the day, yeah, you have your small, immediate group of like friends, your wife, your kids, or your super close family. But everybody else is like, I'm not going to get attached to that person because it's temporary. My teammates are temporary. Everything around me is temporary, but I know my legacy is forever. I know my kids is forever. So I don't think they could be any other way but that. I don't know if you can ever be any other way but that. That's with anybody in any profession. Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. We think about people like who just really was like the greatest at whatever they did. Mm-hmm. I think you got to kind of shut it off a little bit. And I think that could be a little small possibility of LeBron because I feel like he is more open and more welcoming and more friendly to other people. And Mike and MJ were just like, no.
Yeah,
and it's not like that. Like it was like, quote unquote, like the mob. Like you're with us, and if you're not directly with us, then I'm cool. Yeah, hi, but I got to keep going. I don't want nothing to do with you. Yeah, so like, you could get in the way of what I want to accomplish.
Do you think that maybe it's the time they came up in, like Jordan and Kobe, and Kobe came up obviously a little later time than Mike, but because LeBron hardworking in the gym kind of guy, and he is like the highest scoring player in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it feels like he's such a more of a facilitator and trying to get everybody involved.
He wants to make sure everybody. He's the guy that if he has a party, he's gonna talk and keep working the room and make sure everybody else is happy. Everybody else has a drink. Everybody else has food. Like that's the type of person he is.
Yeah. So,
and I think that hurt him in ways to really probably accomplish more than what he did because he accomplished a lot. But when he leaves, he'll probably be like, dang, I left a lot on the table.
Yeah, and people will probably say he's more agreeable. He's more likable. Like he's more conscientious, and he got a lot of friends. And I hear people sometimes they talk about. I listen to the radio sometimes. They talk about how guys they just seem like they all cool, and after the game and stuff like, what's up, boy, and everything. And it's like you see somebody going over and talking to Drake. And matter of fact, I was listening to a game one time, and it was like, man, Drake ain't got no business being over there and talking to Drake. Like, why him and Mark DeRosa, they have they got some, they been cool, but then I think Mark DeRosa was in They Not Like Us video.
Mm-hmm.
And Drake did like that. Yeah. And they supposed to was cool for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, wop, 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 wop. You know what I'm saying? I honestly, and please, nobody take this the wrong way by any means. But I understand the potential to a degree, because I think that sometimes I even underestimate what I have within myself. But I can see very clearly from all the different things that I've been gifted to be able to do, the potential that I have within myself to be able to reach heights that a lot of things have happened for me that I didn't even intend to happen. And so they just kind of, things have fallen in my lap, and then anything that I put the effort, the energy into and cultivated has flourished and become, significant for me. But also the person who I am, though, I do like being, that person who, if it's my function, I can work the room and talk to anybody. And like, I don't try to make nobody feel like they're beneath me because I am better in whatever way that I may be better, or that I'm above, or I have some kind of status, or whatever the case may be. So I can understand somebody like LeBron, like, not like putting people down or belittling just because of who he is. Like, it's undeniable how good he is. You know what I mean? But he don't have to go up to the person that's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, he don't got to go to the lowest scoring person on the team and be like, you are trash. You know what I'm saying? You will never be as good as me. And I'm not that person either, even though I may be standing next to somebody who's like, oh, like, you want to check out my art? And they show it to me and it's awful. But it's like, I'm going to find something in it to be like, okay, I see what you're trying to do here, and I can have that conversation with him, and I can give him some pointers, or I can say, hey, look, this is what I do. Maybe you should try this. Like, being that person. Like, Kobe ain't doing that. Jordan ain't doing that. LeBron, probably. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kobe is going to be like, we lost because of you.
Yeah.
You're trash. Yeah. Go back out there and practice. You know what I'm saying? Jordan is gonna do the same thing, or he gonna sock you upside the head. Like that mentality is like, it's like, this is where I am. This is who I am, and you either gonna be right there too, or you got to get from around me. It can be off-putting, and it's okay if you okay with putting people off to get where you're trying to go. Yeah. It's a fine line to walk, though. It's, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Or it's a hard line to stand on, and it's just, this is what it is. Yeah. I can't comfortably say that I feel okay, like, putting somebody down because they not where I am with things, though. So, I don't think I would ever really be, like, that level with anything, because I can't really treat people that way. And it's frustrating, though, because sometimes, keep it funky with y'all, like, I really get up and I'll be like, yo, like, I am definitely better than people. At, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I'm sitting here and I'm doing something and I'm like, yo, this is like, I have my peers. I can understand. I can be honest and say, I can look and point and say, that person's better than I am. That person's better than I am. That person's better than I am. But this thousands and thousands of people behind me ain't touching me. And I'm also looking at the people who are better than I am. Like, I'm working as hard as I am because I want to catch up. Because there's so many in that thousands of people that's behind me who were ahead of me when I started, who I've caught, passed, and lapped, that it's like, nobody is exempt from that. Yeah. So I am always in that fight with myself to not be like, everybody can get stepped on. Right, you know exactly. Like, it's an internal struggle for sure.
Yeah. I like to say that I think, just living with the idea we that everybody is worthy and deserving. And I think when people are understanding and appreciative that everybody is worthy and deserving, you're not looking down at people. And I think when you find people, they're definitely not, that look down on people and criticize people for what they lack or what they don't have. Those kind of people can make you feel uncomfortable. And I think a mistake that many competent people make that can hinder them is when they think that they can be successful at something and they can do it like all alone. When you need the other people around you.
You need a team.
Like, one of the things I like about the the Cleveland Cavaliers is when you look at like, and this may change, but when you look at the way they play now, it really feels like they're playing team ball. Like,
everybody's playing together.
and even though it's like you might say Donovan Mitchell is the guy, the thing you realize is every night it's like different people doing things, and it feels like that vibe is like okay. And you say, man, I like that vibe, because that vibe says to me that despite the fact that these guys have had different careers and they produce on different levels, when they come together as a team, it doesn't really matter, and everybody's made to feel like they are part of it, and they can participate and they can engage. But when you start making people feel like, oh, you the king and I'm the serf and all this stuff,
but that's going back to how you were saying, like getting around like better vibes and stuff.
Getting around better vibes, when you start feeling like, oh, we connecting and everything. Just like we all come from different backgrounds, right? We got different professions, and we're working on different things. I mean, obviously you got your own blurs and clips, right?
Right.
Yeah, you got that, and you produce, and you got a elite mental, and those are the things that you do. I'm a therapist and everything. We can sit down and have this conversation, and it feels like we brothers, don't it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's how it should be. And I know in Cleveland we don't like to talk about the Warriors too much, but I mean, you can say what you want to about Steph, and you can say what you want to about Clay. And in fact, I think they're playing tonight. But those guys are amazingly talented. Curry, but he don't. I saw him one time, man. Before a game, it was in Cleveland. It was I think it might have been doing the 14-15 that year.
15.
Yeah, so they won that year. But I remember I took my kids to a wrestling match that was like a day or so before the next game. And I saw Steph walking in, man. He had a book bag on. He looks like a kid, man. Yeah. Man. So cool, man. But you see him out there playing, it's like, dang, man.
It's crazy.
But I mean, and people don't like when he take his mouthpiece, and he put it inside his mouth. But I mean, he seems like he's such a down to earth, cool person, man. Just out there doing his thing, and it's not like, oh yeah, I'm this guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think you want to be around people like that, and you want to play for people like that. But also, I think with like Mike and the Bradys of the world, they just didn't care about being liked. They just wanted to win. And regardless if the people around them didn't necessarily like them, they won too. So even if his teammates could say whatever they said, I know in the documentary they had The Last Dance, and like one of his teammates was like, yeah, he yelled at us, he cussed at us, he made us do things we didn't want to do, but we won.
Yeah, they all got
so at the end of the day, we all won. We all got a ring. So I guess it's just the way you kind of like look at it in a way, but you definitely would want to be around a guy like Steph, a guy like Clay who could bring you good vibes. Donovan is another guy like that. You want to play for those guys because they bring good energy around, even though they could be like the star. Mm-hmm. But I mean, playing for Mike and Kobe and Brady and those guys who you would say are a-holes, you're winning. You're winning. And and I think you start to understand it because even though the vibe might not be always right, they just want it that bad. And the only people that didn't understand it is the people who did not want it that bad. At the end of the day. And I think it's the same with like music too. You got like one of my favorite artists is Big Sean. Great vibes. I watch all his interviews. I listen to his music. He always talk about positivity, always talking about, speaking life into the world. But then you got other guys who might not be that same way, but maybe they get more of the recognition than he does. Mm-hmm. Maybe because he likes to kind of play the background and wants to kind of not be friends with everybody, but keep the peace. Right. And you got other guys who going at everybody else's neck. They just get more of the recognition than he does. But that's all about personality and vibes and who you want to be around.
Yeah. So let me ask you this though, like for example, an individual like so thinking about guys that might be like hardworking, competent, but yet not necessarily the most likable person, like Draymond or Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
like those guys, man. You know that they bring it every day, and I think because they are people who bring it every day, you like tolerate and deal with them, and deal with them because like with Jordan and them, there was the prize, the status of being champions, and so whatever you dealt with it because at the end of the day, it made you a better person. But then you had guys like Draymond. I heard Isaiah Thomas say last night. If Draymond wasn't on the Warriors, they would not be the team that they are because of the way he plays, and so he does bring like this real important value quality to this team, this grit, this grind, this guy that knows how to where to put the ball and everything, right? But at the same time he can go too far with it, and it's like, what? I mean, because you could argue that perhaps the Cavs don't win 2016 if he don't lose his cool.
But I think you just gotta if you on his team, you just ride with him because you just know what he is. We probably got family members like that, brothers, cousins, who just off the scale, but at the same time, you just like, man, that's my cousin or that's my brother. I love him to death, but I just know how he is.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating, but for me, I all of those people get dealt with to a minimal degree though, because it's like, man, I don't do difficult and I don't do frustrating. And I also don't do attitudes and I don't do egos. Like I said, especially for, like I said, the way I perceive myself and the way that I am perceived by others. It's like, if I'm not out here being difficult and frustrating for people and I'm not out here giving people attitude and ego, you ain't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you shouldn't
not in
be.
my presence. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you, especially if you, man, it's and I know it's on the docket too, but especially people who ain't even good. What?
How you not good and you acting that way?
Like, what is happening?
But some people, they just like, that's their personality.
Right.
And it could be like that because of how they were raised or how they were as kids.
No. You know what? Like, legitimately, it's like when American Idol start off, the first couple episodes is terrible auditions of people who are the most confident because they just know that they're the greatest thing that ever happened, and they're
garbage.
Awful. Like you are awful, and you're not even aware that you awful. But at the same time, those episodes is out there for a reason, because it's like those people have something that if more people had, or people who actually were good had, man, they could be amazing, because some of those people just have such big personalities that it's infectious and it's low key and it's intriguing. You know what I'm saying? Like, in ways that it probably shouldn't be, but you can't even help but be drawn to somebody who is just that out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even when it's not necessarily deserve it. And then it ultimately ends up kind of being that way, which is wild to me though. Like, so it's like I look at all these people who we shouldn't know at all. And it's like, and I look at the internet and I'm like, why do y'all keep making these people famous? But then at the same time, it's like, all right, it's something there for everybody, I guess.
Yeah, like just you'll see people that talk about things, or they don't know nothing about what they're talking about, but
they confident.
They confident.
Thinking they
People
know.
make them
confident.
People make them
Loud
experts.
and wrong at the same time.
And you know what? I think there's something about people being direct and clear and saying, this is what I feel. I think there's something in people that attracts people to people like that.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes truth is nuanced. So you can ask me a question about something. If I'm really deeply thinking about it, it might be a lot of different ways to answer a particular question.
Right.
But when you do that, people are like, oh man, they lying, they bull crapping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that sometimes to me is I think is like a very interesting phenomenon because the truth can have so much shades of gray. And of course, I'm a therapist. I think like that, right?
Right.
But we'll see things so singularly, like it's just this or it's just that. It's black or white, and we'll follow people that come off that way. Yet there's so much more to this story than what they're telling you.
I think some things are black and white. I think sometimes you have to be that way, but there is gray in the middle of a lot of situations too. I guess it's just situational. But people who probably never really receive like counseling or therapy, they probably won't really see it that way.
Yeah.
I know I didn't.
Yeah. And and the thing about it is, we, in therapy, we talk about there always being, like we talk about personality. We think about personality. We think about people being open. Like people to be open.
Yeah.
People want people to be open. You think about, you want somebody who's conscientious. You want people to be conscientious, like, and be aware and be empathetic and sense and feel. You want to be around people who, on some level, have some type of extrovertedness about them. Like, you don't want, obviously, people just being in the corner to themselves, acting like a turtle, right?
Right, no, yeah.
But you don't want people so loud and obnoxious. They just, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be around people like that either, right? So that's just like, it's got to always be about them, because that ain't cool. Because a lot of times those individuals be the main ones that are unskilled. They unskilled, they not competent, and they like the loudest one in the room, and they got to be the center of attention.
Insecure.
Or either they're this. I call them mud puckers. You know what a mud pucker is?
So why do you call them that?
Because they always trying to throw mud on somebody else. You know, they throwing dirt on you. Man.
Oh,
You might
they
call
try
them
to make
haters.
themselves look better.
Like they mud puckers, man.
That's like insecurity too, though.
Yeah, they throwing mud on you. Like, and obviously those kind of people are not likable. So I try to be cautious about people that be like, oh yeah, man, that person doing good, man. But let me tell you this and tell you that. Like, oh man, let me get away from them. Or I might sit there and laugh, but I be careful about what I say, because those kind of people, man, they
Bad energy too.
Yeah, bad energy.
Yeah, I don't like being around people
I don't
like
like
that.
being around people like that too much, because it's like, man, why are you talking about them? Because like, what's going on with you? You know, now it's one thing when you're trying to add something to increase or encourage somebody. That's cool, but just throwing salt on people, that's how I'm supposed to say it. But,
Yeah, but I think too, it's like, no, I ain't gonna say it. I was in the middle of a situation recently, and I'm just like, we all can coexist and be good.
Facts.
Like you don't have to be bad for me to be good. Like, you could be good and I could be good. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But I feel like so many times people just want their situation to go perfect. And if somebody's in front of them or like maybe in their way, they just want them to do so bad. Like, and it's not, you don't have to be that. And then that's just bad energy and bad vibes.
Yeah.
And it just brings everything else around you. Like, there's nothing wrong with people being able to coexist and be good. Like, Darius Garland isn't worried about Don. Like, if Darius has 25 and Don has 10, but they win, Don's going home like, cool. It ain't like, man, DG had 25, only had 10. Next game, I got to not give him the ball. It ain't like, but that's why they're winning. Because we all can coexist. Evan Mobley can have X amount of rebounds. That don't mean, and maybe Allen only had 6 rebounds. Like, that don't mean everybody's saying, no, we can all coexist. It might be your night tonight. Next night, it might be mine. But it don't matter. The common goal is to win. Yeah, but I think people who are like insecure within themselves always doing that. Like, man, I ain't gonna lie. Like, he know what he doing with the podcast stuff, but let me tell you though, he be doing this, that, and the third. Like, dang, wait a minute, I thought you said he was good. Like, why you gotta bring him down to make it you better? It's crazy, but that's the world we live in.
Yeah, you know what? But I think like if you like really like want to help somebody, man, it's always good to like tell them. Like I'll ask people in a minute, like, man, what do you think I'm doing? What do you think I need to do? Because I know I have a certain perspective, I have a certain lens I see the world through, and I might not see something somebody else might see.
Right.
And so I'm gonna ask because like man, they see this. And I rather you tell me because I figure I can grow from that. But also, I want to add to you because I know if I add to you, it's gonna also make me better.
Yeah,
like,
it's gonna come back.
It's this crab thing that we talk about sometimes.
The crabs in a barrel.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm good and I give back to my community is good, and then everybody's good, and then we all good, right?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah.
But if I'm like, as soon as I do good, you trying to put me back down, like, man, what the fudge?
Yeah.
A mud pucker, man.
Yeah, no, it is.
I don't know. I don't.
Stop.
I mean, I think it's weird. That like. Yeah, like that mentality that people have of being like, yeah, I mean, like they cool, but but or what I'm saying, like you would say, it's like that's I don't know, I don't have to do that. I never really understood it personally. It's just like you being, like I said, it doesn't register in my mind to even think like that. My thing is, I just let my work speak for itself. I tell people all the time, like I'm not concerned about who is around me necessarily. Mm-hmm. Like I'm aware. Mm-hmm. I'm aware of who's around me. I'm aware of what they do. I'm aware of how good or bad they are, so that I'm informed of my place in, what I'm saying, in the marketplace, in the world as well. And that way I can gauge, who I am and what I'm doing accurately according to what's going on around me. But if it's anything, I don't have to look at somebody like, man, I hope today all I gotta do is just get them to just fall off and not be bad. And then if they suck, then all of a sudden I'll start to look real shiny by comparison. That's weird. I just want to turn up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all I want to do is I just want to turn up. Like when I started this thing, it was other people providing this podcast and service too, and I looked at what they had and it was like, yo, their cameras look crazy. What I do, I went and got a camera, so now we look like this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I didn't say, hey, y'all shouldn't go to them. Y'all should come over here to me. No, I just made it look like this. And some people had stuff that sounded good. I went and bought more expensive microphones and a better board, and now we sound how y'all hear it sounding sultry through the microphones. You know what I'm saying? Like all I did was just went and stepped my stuff up so that I could genuinely be in a space to compete. I didn't have to knock nobody else down or talk down on nobody else. Like McDonald's doesn't make ads to tell you how bad Burger King is. They just make ads about how good they are. Yeah, and at the end of the day, they're always within a couple feet of each other. But they're not worried. But they're not worried about, you know what I'm saying, the fact that they're across the street from each other. They don't have a sign that says no. Like Burger King don't have a sign in front that says "Come here instead." They just have the sign that says, come get your Whopper for the $4.99. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's like we can be doing the same thing. And like you said, two things can be true at the same time. I can be good and you can be good. And we can do the same thing. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if they like my good compared to your good, they're just going to come to me. So it don't matter. It don't matter that Burger King is right there in front of the McDonald's. If you don't like the Big Mac, you gonna go get the Whopper. You know what I'm saying? It does not matter. So like, and I adopt that same mentality. I don't care that you right there and you do the same thing. I do it my way, and somebody thinks my way is better, and it's gonna and I don't have to say nothing about you. Yeah, you
know when you say that, man, it makes me think. Like I always try to remember, number one, where I started at, and I think about all the people that helped me and supported me in evolving, and I'm still moving forward. And I always think like, man, look, I had people helping me and supporting me and people who helped me get to this place. Because, man, when I first started my practice, I remember I had a car that broke down on a freeway, and I was still making car note payments.
That's crazy. Rough.
And this guy I met at the Justice Center because I got a speeding ticket, and he was in there. He came and sit beside me, and he was a rapper. His name was Water. We started chopping it up, talking and everything. You know, didn't think nothing of it. Some months later, I'm driving to Strongsville. I used to work out in Strongsville as a therapist. Mm-hmm. My car break down. I'm like, dang. He makes this crazy noise. I'm like, oh my God, this sounds like something serious, man. I was driving a Volkswagen Beware. But
V-Dub, baby.
Nah, for real.
so I get out, I love that car, but man, it went. But you know what I'm saying? Like I still got a note on it, right? I get out the car. I started walking down the freeway, trying to get on my phone. And before I could get out of my car, good, my boy pull up. Water pulls up.
Never.
Like, yes, he pulled up. I just met him that day. And then what if my vibe was off when we started talking and what's the name? He was talking to me like I would have been like, man, look, but man, he came, we chopped it up. So he gave me a ride to my office. Really? And I was able to call the tow man from my office and tell him where my truck was and have it my car was and have him take it where I needed to take it. But I thought about it, man, look at this guy came right there, right in time. And I just think that when you like treat people right, you kind, you warm, you try to use humor and those things, even when you serious and you passionate and everything in life, that, you know, you will get more positive vibes from people in the long run. But if you were in this space in this world, because all of us ain't gonna be like no Kobe or have the luxury of being like Kobe or being like LeBron or being like Michael. On some level, yes, but on another level, no, because if that would happen to Mike, it would you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if I was a butthole, I would have had a different response from him.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
For sure.
And the day wouldn't have been that smooth. It probably would have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it would have been a lot worse, man.
It's always cool to be cool. Like, I enjoy encountering people. Like, I don't even know why, because like all the time I run into people and they be like, "Oh man, Watts, what up, bro? Like, you don't even remember me, do you?" And I immediately be like, "Damn, what did I do to this person?" And I think that, but it's like, I don't be doing nothing to people. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why my mind goes there. Like I'll be feeling like somebody that potentially had a bad experience with me. Yeah. But it's always like, bro, I seen you at such and such and you did such and such. Man, it was so cool chopping it with you. And I just be like, damn, that feel good.
Yeah,
like that feel good. Like that's cool as hell. Like I ran into, matter of fact, it's so crazy. So like my brother came over to my house. Had one of his people with him. Dude knew who I was. It was super random. Dude knew who I was. I had never met him personally, but he's seen me host a couple of different events and had been at joints. And I was just like, dog, like I could tell he was like on the spectrum. Like, you know what I'm saying, a little bit. But, you know what I'm saying? But he was super cool. So, like, whatever. So, I took, you know what I'm saying, like, whatever. I don't have no reason to not treat nobody, you know what I'm saying? So, he was cool. So, we just chopping it and, you know what I'm saying? And I also like feeling like I'm a universal person that can talk to, you know, anybody. And so, it was like just figuring out what, you know what I'm saying, what makes a person tick to be like, all right, that's the wavelength that we have in common, that we can match up on. So, took him downstairs, showed him the man cave. He saw my shelves with all my like old school game systems, all my stuff on it, everything that I had. He just blew away. Like, yo, this is the craziest. Like, I'd never leave this basement if this was my crib. And what I was missing, I had a shelf dedicated to Nintendo. I had an original Nintendo. I had a 64. I had a GameCube. I was missing the Super Nintendo.
Side note, not your, you know the 64 coming back.
I saw the 4K.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but go ahead. My fault.
First day. Right there.
But go ahead. When you say 64, go ahead.
Feel me? But yeah, so I had the original, I had the 64, I had the GameCube, I had the Game Boys, I had all the Nintendo systems. I had everything except for the Super Nintendo because mine got messed up in a flood. Dude saw, he was like, man, you ain't got no Super Nintendo. I'm like, I don't. Like, that's crazy. He go outside to his car, come back in, and got his hand behind his back.
Man, I'm about to walk off
swings a Super Nintendo
There's no
from
way
around
he
his
had
back,
one.
bro.
What?
I swear on everything I love. He came downstairs with his hand behind his back and brought a Super Nintendo out and gave me that joint, bro. Because he was just like, bro, like, you was super dope doing what you do on stage. That's dope.
Man.
But like meeting you in person and actually getting to chop it with you, bro, like, I think you just, like, you should have this. You gonna do better than I was gonna do with it. And gave it to me. And it was just like, what? And now my Nintendo collection is complete on my shelves. Like, because of that, though.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
All right. That's like,
Come on,
what's supposed
bruh.
to happen.
You feel me?
And I don't
Like,
even
what?
believe in that. Like, but that something like that was like
Crazy,
God, that's
bruh.
like God's timing.
Crazy,
God was
bruh.
meant for y'all to meet, and that's a lineup. For him to go to the car and come back.
Yeah.
Went to the car and came
me
back, bruh, and came with it. And that joint, I'm talking about like brand new condition, bruh. Like, I'm just like, what are the odds, bruh? Like, people don't understand, like, treating people right gets you so far in this world. Like, if you ever in Cleveland, Ohio, you make your way down to Lounge's content studio and you walk through, like, right now, there's a 65-inch TV on a cart. We got 2 of them joints in here. They brand spanking new, they fly, they real dope. You know what I'm saying? The TV that we see ourselves on right now, there's 2 of them in here. One of my podcast guests, like one of my clients, her guest came to the show. She came, saw the spot. She liked it so much. We gave, you know what I'm saying, let her get a drink. Everybody had a good time. Dope show. She like, man, I got an Airbnb. I cleared out. I got a storage unit just full of all this furniture and stuff. I ain't got nothing. I don't got nothing to do with it. Like, I don't want to really go through the trouble of trying to sell it. Like, y'all can have everything.
What?
This TV, the other TV that's on the cart, we got a sectional couch in the back. Just gave
Being
them
nice
to
to
us.
people.
We got a
Goes a long way.
We got a popcorn machine in the middle of the section now on a cart, the real movie theater style joint.
Yeah,
Somebody gave it to us like, because they came here and we showed them a good time and they enjoyed themselves and we just treated them like people. You know what I'm saying? Like just being who we are, how we are. Like that kind of thing happens all the time. And people would just assume that we just bought all this. No, we bought a lot of it, but like people just be like.
Here we go.
Yeah. And I was just going to just piggyback off of what you were just saying. Like, it didn't cost you nothing to be nice to that guy. Nothing. It didn't cost you nothing to be nice to the guest. It doesn't cost anything.
No,
it doesn't cost anything. And in return, you got something out of it that you wasn't even expecting to get.
Or didn't ask for. Like
didn't ask for, yeah.
Like wouldn't have known that like just taking Buddy downstairs and being like, hey bro, come check out the man cave was gonna turn into him being like, hey bro,
I got
Super
one
Nintendo. Like that's what are the odds?
I've connected with a lot of people. A lot of people have put me in touch with a lot of people just off of me just being a cool and nice person.
Hey, you know what?
And I think too, I was gonna say, only thing you got in this world is your name.
That's it.
And once your name is tarnished in these, as people say, these streets, once you got a bad rep and a bad name, you can't really turn it around. It takes so much.
Right.
So just be nice to people, man. If you see somebody, open up the door for them. You never know what it does for their day. And you just never know how it could just turn back around like the dude Water.
Yeah, man.
Shout out Water, man. I don't know where Water's at now.
Shout out Water, man.
Yeah, if you tuned in, Water, man, that's crazy.
And he might be like, dang, I just happened to watch the broadcast today, and they talking about me. That would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
Like,
yeah.
But hey, dog, drop a new mixtape. We need that number 3 player.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
shout out Water.
CO2. But seriously, man, when you think about it, though, obviously, when you think about people that's like, I would say, I'm not gonna get all into the incompetent, but I'm a maybe drive it home here, man. People who tend to be selfish and tend to like only focus on what they need, they fail to realize that when you selfish, when you truly selfish, your hand is closed. And when your hand is closed, you can't get nothing in it.
Right.
Like, and who wants to be around somebody that always selfish? It's always about them. Like, they always got to get the rock. They always got to get the ball. They always got to be the center of attention. Selfish people. They're not giving anything back. We talk about the idea of reciprocity. Also, think about it. Who wants to be around somebody that's always angry? Like really, man. Like, who wants to be like? I mean, I'm a therapist, and and I expect when I do sessions to deal with people with having different feelings and emotions, but in reality, if you're always angry or puckered up and you saying that everybody else is mad or angry, you need to look at yourself, because that probably means that you have a problem with anger. It's not the world, it's you, because you always seem to be the common denominator with that. So angry, selfish, the person that's always complaining, never seem to be content with anything. they tend to always run people off or run people away. They got to look inside themselves and say, I wonder why nobody seems to want to work with work with you. You seem to go from team to team, or relationship to relationship. Nothing seems to ever work.
It's not working.
Yeah, it's not working because maybe we are not being, when it comes to just having, connecting with other people, maybe we just don't know how to do it because we're so busy focused on ourselves that we don't realize that in order to really be a whole person, we have to actually be agreeable to like connecting with other people on different levels. And I gotta admit, y'all, when I was younger, I was so serious. And like the version y'all know of me was like, is like this person that kind of laughs and jokes. Yeah, I can get into the etiology and epidemiology, frequency, duration, and psychological babble. However, at the same time, I realized that if I'm not a person that people can sit down, chop it up with, and laugh and joke, I'm probably not going to be that good a therapist. And if I don't have good connections with my colleagues and I don't help them, if I don't engage them, then I'm probably not going to get all that learning I could get from other people that do the same thing I do. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to help them, and I also understand they'll help me, but that'll help me improve and grow and develop my own skills and my own knowledge and information. Because right when I get finished this, the podcast comes out, I'll be talking to some other therapists. Say, did you look at the podcast? What you think? Did you feel like it was
feedback?
Getting the feedback. Yeah. Did you feel like it was down to earth and good, but did you still feel like there was some good mental health messages flowing through the whole show? Trying to create that mix, right? Because, but if I'm rude and mean to everybody, like you was talking earlier, like, why are they gonna tell me anything? Gerald, you stuck on yourself. You think you know everything.
Yeah.
And that's what I think the unskilled, incompetent, what you want to call them, that's where they live at. And typically, it's not that they don't have skills. It's just that they don't realize that they don't know how to deal with people. We call it emotional intelligence. Yeah. The foundation of emotional intelligence is being self-aware, knowing yourself, being connected with your own emotions and feelings, and then being able to have empathy towards other people, understanding and being aware, conscientious of their feelings and emotions, and being able to compromise your interactions based on those understandings. So even when using humor and joking and kidding, like, if you understand the people that you're around, when to crack a joke, even when it's something serious.
Yeah,
and if you're a comedian, you're really good at that.
That's your job. Yeah.
So, but anyway, guys, any other thoughts, opinions, ideas on this?
Hey, man, treat people right, bro. And then you might get cool free stuff.
Exactly.
Like, for real.
Or treat people right, and when you encounter them again years later and they walk up to you and say your name, they might not stab you.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, exactly. It may not, man. And hey, so and I hope, man, we can find it in our hearts and our minds as people to end these wars around the world, man. Because at the end of the day, man, it's a lot of innocent people dying that got nothing to do really with what actually caused the problem in the first place, and they good people, and they deserve to live like anybody else, man. Yeah. Well,
it's like I can see my newest gray just booming on camera.
Yeah. Wisdom is coming out in all kind of different ways. Look, man, I got quite a few more of them than you have, man. So but I feel blessed because if you live long enough, you're gonna have a lot more than that. But
listen, man, I'll take the grays up here if they come with the hair. I'll take them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I ain't got the issue with the hair.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This baldness is BS,
I got the issue with the hair, man. You better go to the hair club, man.
Yeah, I got to do something.
Signing up, man.
Call the hair club.
I got to do something.
Be nice to them. They might do it. They might give you some stuff for free.
Yeah, we just gave you some advertisement.
See?
Yeah, the hair club for men. Yeah, just
you know what I'm saying? On the Revolt Podcast Network.
Oh, yeah, we need a package.
Yeah, but anyway, y'all, we need a package there right here. Listen, you heard it first right here on the Revolt Network podcast. Therapy is life. If you like this episode, please like us. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your comments in the drop-down section. All right? Tell us how much you liked us because we really want to hear it. And if you don't like us, tell us that too because we want to hear that too. Because we all about getting better at what we do. All right, I believe that's all, folks. I'll let you later. You mud puckers.
Yeah.
That's a banger.
That is.
All right.
I did not know your where'd you is that you made that hoodie? Or
No,
is that somebody's
if somebody made it, a client gave it to me, man.
stuff? For real?
Yeah,
I like that. That's dope.
You want? I'll see how she.